Monday again. Welcome back to episode 3. Episode 2 goes out tonight. Hope you enjoyed that one from last week. Yeah, as you can see, it's cold, wet and horrible as per usual. I'm over in Scholes today, working on a project with Wigan Borough Community First, and strangely it's the end of the day, so I'm going to hop in the car, get a bit warm and tell you about what I've been doing. Right, heated seats are on, heated steering wheel is on. Oh, what a busy day today. I've been over with Charlie in the office. We've been working through the Health Watch website, the Wigan Borough Community First website. Charlie's been compiling some reports for me, making sure they're all pretty, in the right fonts, in the right styles. Great resource, Charlie. Came through his work experience and ended up being kept on at the organisation we're working with, which is lovely to see. He's 20 years old, he's a good lad. I'll do a bit of an update one day, like following the life of him, because I think it'd be quite interesting to see the difference in work that he does at his level. I see a lot of myself in him as well. It's really nice to work with someone who's motivated and who's willing to kind of, well, develop new skills as well. It's rare to find a 20-year-old in this day and age of like that kind of capacity. I've worked with lots of apprentices in the past who just kind of come to work and go home, but I've always been a bit different to that. Like, I've always given my absolute all to every organisation I work with. Some have appreciated it, some have taken the piss. Naming no names, but if you're watching, you know who you are. That's a story by itself for another day. So we've been working on Illustrator today, and I'd say 90% of what we do on the computer is Illustrator, in terms of creating graphics, leaflets, posters, etc. There's a small element of Photoshop that we use, and I had Charlie working on Canva as well. Now, Canva, bit of a dirty word in the design kind of industry, but it's a great free resource for the people that we kind of go into. And in terms of having a tool to quickly create, you know, graphics, videos, announcements and things like that, it's a great resource. Also, if you're a charity, you can use it for free, which they don't widely publicise, but I'll try to find some details and kind of put those up on screen for you now, because, again, as a resource to use for free, invaluable. Right, so I'm off home now. I'm going to go and pick the little one up from nursery. I'm going to give her some tea, put her to bed, and then I've got a website to finish off. We're working on WordPress tonight, which is a different website builder. For anyone who doesn't know about it, it's probably the most widely used one. We're going away from Wix today, although I do have a Wix website to finish off as well. That one's second tonight, if I get round to it. So I've got that one to finish off, and basically when I finish off the build and get all the graphics and all the text and stuff in, I'll pass it across to our techie guy Andre. Lovely man, always wears a headset. I'm sure he wears his headset to bed as well. I'll pass it across to him, and he deals with all my hosting. He deals with all the techie sides in the background in terms of the actual physical builds of websites most of the time, whereas I just do the pretty stuff on the front end. We've all got our skills, haven't we, mate? So yeah, he does all the techie bits, I do all the pretty stuff. In terms of other people we work with, you know, sign makers and stuff, like, there's someone who does everything within the organisation. We are a collaboration. We don't all work in the same office. We don't need to. Like, I've worked in places in the past where, you know, you're all under one roof. It works for some organisations, but it doesn't work for us because we get here, there and everywhere. So I will introduce you to them all in due course. Not going to be today, I'll tell you that much, because I'm off home. But yeah, let's have a look at the website I'm building now, and let's see where we're going to be for the rest of the week as well. Just want to round out Monday evening. What time are we on? 11:45. Never stops, does it? Website today. So Brighteye organisation. This was previously on a Wix platform, but as I said in a previous video, Wix kind of ramped the price up. So we've rebuilt this into a WordPress format for her. We copied all the content and all the images across. Really basic site, but it gets across what she kind of needs. This is little you need to hear. The founder of the Brighteye organisation, trustees, and then we've got, you know, donate links which take you to the external crowdfunder page, and they're trying to raise a few quid. So they've raised 380 quid so far, 13 supporters, I'll put a link in the video below if you do want to help out with that one. That's taken a little bit of time to rebuild, find the right theme for it, make sure it's mobile responsive, make sure the colours suit what they've kind of had previously as well. Now, the previous Wix site wasn't to my liking. The colours were all a little bit contrasting, so we've gone ahead with obviously customers' kind of approval to make it look better. This is what we do, and yeah, it's better. So we finished that one off today. We've also been working with Eldwatch in Greater Manchester, just kind of rebranding all the leaflets, pull-up banners, tablecloths and stuff like that at the moment as well. So we rebuilt their website. Well, we didn't rebuild their website, we built a brand new website for them, and it was in the style of Healthwatch, but better than Healthwatch. Healthwatch off-the-shelf sites are nasty, they're hard to use. Even for someone with no website experience to jump on them, they're very difficult. They're not user-friendly at all. And for someone who does build websites, when you jump on them, they're even more frustrating to kind of look at. So we're just in the process of rebranding all the other marketing materials at the moment. Nice, clean, clear. That's actually an interactive map that we designed on the website for them as well. So bringing that across from the site into those brochures and materials and things like that as well, so it all looks familiar, obviously, when you go through everything at the same time. From that, we work closely with other trade suppliers. We've been putting together the artwork for some hotel signage for him. So he sent me a basic outline of what he wanted. He sent me out on PowerPoint, which was to the best of his ability. Again, he's a sign maker, he's not a designer. And he's like, I need them in a certain format, right? Sound. Redrawn, all to scale, and then sent him the artwork. So we'll print them off, cut his material, and he's make his signs as well. Talking about signage, Iguana Soul that I showed you in episode 2. We're a little bit longer away with that now. He hasn't opened on the 20th. He's had a couple of setbacks. He's now aiming for the 30th. He wasn't quite happy with the font that was his font and his branding. But some customers, you don't just need to argue them, you just give them what they want. So he's gone away and looked at some fonts, and he prefers this one here, which is Academy Engraved. So we've altered the font on that one now. He's happy with that. So from this process here, this then comes across to a little artworking board. We break this down into panel sizes for production. So there's a nice join in the middle there, but it'll be seamless, you won't see it at all. These will either be self-coloured panels or printed panels with obviously the graphic on top. So there's two ways which we can do that. And then this will be that'll be a cut white graphic at the top. And that'll be a printed graphic that is then CAD cut to the kind of contours there, which you'll see on this beautiful window over here. So hopefully in a few days that'll go into production once the costs are approved with customer, Mr. Steve, lovely. He'll approve them. But we're going to give him a couple of options. We're going to give him middle and high. We don't do cheap because people always moan and they always come back about it. So it could be as simple as a banner up there. It's going to look crap, like cheap old banners that go on fascias. That we just don't want to do them because, again, it doesn't reflect on our quality of work either. So we're going to do some proper Dipon panels on there with the option of putting letters on there at a later date as well. So opening a new shop, it's costly. He's on the bones of his arse trying to get this sorted. He's moving out of one property into another. We're going to keep it as reasonable as we can for him, but with also the option to make it a little bit smarter later down the line as well. So we can put built-up letters on there if he wants, and that's kind of what's coming down from the previous signage that's on there, and he's seeing it and he's like the look of it. So the options there for him, and just keeping it up, his options flexible. So that's Monday. We're rolling into Tuesday now. It's 10 to 12. I am not doing Babies and Gentlemen tomorrow. The first one is on the 28th. But I will get some bits together for that as well. So I'll be doing my usual, I'll be around the village, saying hello to everyone, nip into the squirrel tea room for my dinner. Tuesdays are lovely. Hopefully the weather improves, as you've seen from every other day that I've been filming. We've not had a single nice day. A little reprieve in the weather would be nice. See you in a sec. It's Wednesday. I'm aware that I missed out Tuesday. Not a lot happened work-wise until probably quite late at night, but I'll fill you in on that one now. So I've had some feedback about Barefaced Comedy, Freddie's site. We've launched it anyway, and there's just a couple of little bits to kind of tweak along the way. Rather than linking Blackpool back directly to a Blackpool Comedy Club, he's going to kind of do the listings himself, so it all looks nice and consistent, which I prefer to see it that way as well. We've had some feedback from Yanita at Brighteye Organisation. She believes on a previous website there was a section which was a dead link when we came to it, that had like blog sections. Now we lift all the content off the previous website. We've got screen grabs of everything, and we use Wayback Machine as well. Like, we can refer back to the previous site to go, there wasn't any content there. So she's going to get some content written up. I'm going to add that onto the site for her as well, but at least she's got something live for the time being. Like, at least people can find her, who she is as an organisation, and the donate links on there as well, so they're quite important. So that was Tuesday night. On to Wednesday today. I've been over in Scholes with Community First and Health Watch, also Sunshine House, On the Way Cafe and the charity shop. So we've been developing their social media channels, and they're a really good voice for the local people and for people to understand how the kind of businesses are laid out differently, and getting those messages out separately as well. I've also been speaking to my colleague Steve about Network Trees. We're currently setting up social media accounts for them. They have a presence in Ormskirk at the moment, but they also work over in Rainhill and the Wirral. So again, breaking those channels off so we can be really direct in terms of where we're putting these adverts. So if you're in the Wirral, there's no point us advertising out an Ormskirk service to you in the Wirral. So we're being really specific about where these channels are kind of placed. So Steve's on with that one, good lad. Charlie, busy as always. He's really getting there with engagement at the moment, so he's been in the charity shop today, getting some content and kind of giving Dawn, the manager, a bit of an update on how things work, giving her a bit of a crash course on social media. Dawn runs the charity shop. She's done for a very long time. Social media's been the last thing on her mind, so, you know, setting up that new channel for her, giving her a little bit of training. She's there all day, every day. She's the one who's going to be running it, but we'll also touch base on her in a couple of days' time, maybe tomorrow, you know, in passing kind of thing. We'll make sure that she's obviously keeping on top of these things, but if she needs any additional training, or if there's any additional tips and tricks we can give her on how to make the channel better and attract the right audience, we'll obviously do that as well. Oh, bit of a brain dump there, wasn't there? Ooh, signage, iguana, approved. Tick, here's the visual for it. So my mate Michael's going to get that made for us. I will meet up with him probably next week on Monday to grab it off him. He'll come to me or I'll go to him. You know, we don't make signage in house, but my background is signage. The lad I work with, Mike, we used to work together over in, I won't even name them because they don't even deserve the advertising. Horrible company to work with, and I'll probably do more about that one day, my kind of experience working in, you know, commercial businesses, and what kind of led me to start my own business as well. But if you're watching, you're a joke. What are we doing tonight then? So Wednesday, pub night. I meet up with my mate Stephen, another Stephen, of Iron Automotive, who we've done work for previously as well. They sell used cars. Big garage over in, I don't know if the class is Tarleton, Mochul, I think the class does actually. Done some drone footage for them, and some branding bits and bobs as well, to get them to a good standard when they kind of started off. So me and him go to the pub most Wednesdays. We have a gab. We used to work in Halfords together years and years and years ago. There's probably some photos floating around of 17-year-old me working in there, and that was an amazing place to work. In terms of working in retail, you learn a hell of a lot. You meet a hell of a lot of people. You learn how to speak to people, which is such a task to do. Like, obviously when you're working in any kind of business, creative, web, whatever it may be that you're watching this for, it's so important to be able to speak to people in a way that you're on a level with them. There's no good going into a corporate client swearing, effing, blinding, etc. But then there's no point going into a community where people really speak pub chat, should we call it, and going in at a corporate level with a lanyard on and an official notepad and book. You're just not going to get best out of them. So understanding your audience is such an important role, an important role of this this job and this industry. So I tend to do really well and identify people really early days to kind of what kind of category they fall into. So I'm very easy to get along with, as most of you who know me will, you know, I can't think of the word. Most of you, yeah, you'll agree with that, won't you? So that's tonight. Tomorrow we are over with a company over in Wigan. They don't want to be named, which is absolutely fine. But again, social media, website updates, a bit of everything for them. They're not based far away from where I've been today, annoyingly, so my commute to and from Wigan, always a fun one. But I like to listen to a podcast on the way to and from. We're on Have a Word pod at the moment, but it cycles between that and a load of different ones. I do listen to some coaching podcasts now and again. So yeah, that's Wednesday, all wrapped up. Thanks for watching if you still are, because I know a lot of this is probably just me wittering on, but I like to think somewhere there's some, important bits of information in there that can help some of you along with your journey of, starting your own business, running a design business, understanding the ins and outs of it. If there's any questions you've got, bang them in the comments below. But yeah, we're on to Thursday now. I'm telling you, it never stops. Phone call on the way home there from Claire at Rebuild with Hope. We help out with she was an apprentice at one point, Isabel, nice to see you. Kind of training her up, getting her up to speed with what she needs to do with social media, good practices and things like that as well. We love working with apprentices and working with staff members that kind of want to, progress things along, coaching them along, mentoring them along, and obviously keeping tabs on them as well, if needs be. Isabel's a really good example. They just sent me some artwork across that they want printing as well for a charity golf day. So get that sorted, get them to print, get them delivered for them. And we also had another call on the way back with sign maker Michael. He's on with the print and production of those signs now as well, so we're going to turn those around really quick. So, I said Wednesday was over. Never really over until it's over, is it? So get these into print now. It's Thursday and I'm not in the office. I am working from home today. We have some social media campaigns to sort out. Network trees in particular. We're due a big old storm at the weekend, so getting some posts out in reaction to that. So if people have got trees that look a bit iffy, get them down beforehand. Obviously during the storm there's going to be issues with trees, because there always is. I think we're due up to 80-mile-per-hour winds from this one this time. Now, for anyone watching the channel, if you're not from the UK, the weather does get better at some point. I seem to be like a bit of a weatherman with this at the moment.
Welcome to BBC News. Storm Eowyn has brought potentially life-threatening winds to Ireland and the UK, with the loss of power and services and the closure of schools, rail ferries, roads and transport hubs.
It is absolutely woeful again outside, like grey, rain, probably snow at some point as well. It's cold, it's horrible. It's perfect for being indoors at the moment. So I was meant to be going across to see a customer today, but I'm going to work from home instead. Nice bit of flexibility there. I'm just going to have a catch-up call with them shortly. What time are we on? 10:15, so I'll be calling them shortly. Again, just to kind of see where they're at. We're going to look at the Google Analytics, see what pages are performing well on their page, see what kind of key terms people are looking for. We're into a new year now, so are there any kind of different terminologies and stuff people are using potentially? But we'll form a bit of a report about that, which we will send to the customer at the end of the day, so they know what we've been doing. We'll do a bit of a social campaign around that as well. There's a couple of website builds that are 90% there, so they've gone for customer approval. Just to go through, I think there's a couple of policies and things to add to a couple of them as well, so we can show you those in the next coming days and potentially next week. I need to catch up with Charlie. There's some bits and bobs going over in Skulls that I need some equipment for, so I'm going to see if you can have an ask around. Save buying some bits and bobs if someone's already got it there. There's no point reinventing the wheel, is there? Yeah, plenty to do as per. I've not made a list today. I think I'm working off yesterday's list, so it's all fresh in my head this morning. We're having a roll on with it. I've got the dog sat next to me. Yeah, Milo. Keeping me company, which is nice. MacBook, Wacom pad, power supply, Wi-Fi. That's all I need to operate. Good, happy days. Right, we'll catch up later on today. Good boy, good boy. Good lad. Friday weather update. It is so windy outside. Storm's blowing a gale. So this morning, before we got to Wilson Autobodies, which is where we are now in this beautiful office, we put a load of social media posts out for Network Trees, obviously being reactive to their social media audience, but also to the people who are going to be looking at them as well. So chances are you'll have a tree down in this weather, aren't you? So we are updating John's website today. He's about to walk through the door. You can see him on the camera up there. So yeah, we're updating his website today, getting a load of social media posts scheduled for the rest of the month as well. We've not touched this website in a while as well, so there's a few updates to be done. It was built in WordPress back in, did it a few years back, 2-3 years ago. So it's a little bit out of date now. It's always best to obviously keep on top of your website, new blog posts, new content, anything you're doing in the workplace that's new as well. So John's got loads of new technology here. He's got a few new accreditations and stuff that need to be added onto there as well. So from an SEO perspective, it's always good to do it regularly, but we're here now, so we'll get it sorted.